I have my Zoom University on because that is where I just spent my spring semester of college. What is up, you guys? For today's video, I'm going to be talking about the things I wish I knew when entering freshman year. I just finished my first year at Temple University and I have some things that I want to say. Expectations that I had that were never met, things that I didn't think were going to happen that did happen. There are just so many expectations that we have when going into college, and it dawned on me that a lot of my subscribers are high schoolers about to enter college. So I thought that I would make this video for you guys and tell you all the things that I wish I knew regarding parties and grades and boys and teachers and all that stuff. So if you're interested and you want to know the things that I learned that could possibly help you, then keep on watching. So I wrote down 10 things on my phone to talk to you guys about. Number one is probably one of the very first things that I learned in my freshman year, and that is you do not have to be friends with your roommate. If you get assigned a roommate randomly, which is what I had, I got a random assignment, you don't have to be friends with your roommate. I feel like people believe that their roommate will be their first best friend, which can end up being the case, but normally it's not if you did a random assignment. If you didn't and you chose your roommate beforehand, then it's probably because you guys have things in common, you guys like each other. But even then, you don't have to be best friends with your roommate. I think I went into college thinking that I was gonna be really good friends with my roommate. The first few parties that I went to were like parties that I would go to with people in my hall, but then I realized like I am just not close to the people in my hall like that. Like I just don't vibe with them like that, which is fine. So I made new friends and I found a new group of friends, and then I kind of hung out with them, and those are like now my really good friends that I go to parties with, I chill with now. Whether you are doing random assignments or you found a roommate, please don't go in with the expectation that that freshman year roommate will be your best friend all throughout your 4 years. If that happens to you, great, but it really does not need to, and you don't need to fight for it to happen, because that is one person out of the thousands of people that you're going to school with. I can understand why people would want that, because I guess it's kind of like a built-in friend, like you're forced to meet them, you're forced to talk to them, but it doesn't really have to happen like that, which actually leads me into my second point. If you spend all your time in your dorm, you will not make friends. This is something that I kind of learned the hard way. I think my first 2 weeks of college I spent by myself. Yes, I would talk to people, but I spent the majority of my time in my dorm. Like I would go to class, I would come back to my dorm, and I would just like stay there. And then I realized like, wait, why am I eating by myself every day? Oh, hold on. I had to realize that quickly and then go out and like meet people and go to events and ask to hang out with people. Sometimes you need to be the one to be like, hey, do you want to go grab lunch, or do you want to go grab dinner, or do you want to go to this event that's happening on campus? You're gonna have to be the one to reach out and do that sometimes. I think what people forget is that unless you're going to a tiny ass school, there are thousands of people in college. Like there are so many people, which was a shock to me. Like it was overwhelming how many people I would see on campus every single day. You're gonna have to go out of your way to meet some of them, because you don't know who they are, they don't know who you are. Somebody has to make the first move. Like one of my most amazing friends that I've ever met, Miss Olivia, she talked to me in math class because she sat behind me, and she just like called my name and we started talking and we went out to lunch, and now that's my bitch. Every single big college campus, I know for a fact, like wherever you go, they have events. Go to those events. If you find yourself spending all of your time in your dorm every single day and you're not making any friends, that's probably why. Number 3, use Rate My Professor. It will save your life. The reason why I'm saying this is because I learned this the hard way. When I went to orientation, before classes even started, I went to orientation I think in July, classes started in August. They told us you shouldn't use rate my professor because it's not an accurate depiction of the professor. You're only hearing from students who either really love the professor or really hated the professor, which there is some truth to that. But if a bunch of people are saying do not take this professor, he or she is bad, that will give you some insight on whether or not you should take them. I listened to the orientation leaders that said don't use rate my professor, and I just chose a random chemistry professor, and he sucked. He's bad, he's not a good professor. I taught myself the entire course of chemistry, but he's a really cool guy, so I got to know him really well. And I was like, oh, maybe I can get a recommendation letter out of him, even though he cannot teach. He knows me, he knows my name, he knows that I'm in his class, he likes me. So I was like, okay, let me take him again spring semester, even though he can't teach. Well, this was me kind of playing myself. I took him again, even though I know that he can't teach, but I get to his class spring semester, 3 months in, we get sent home because of coronavirus. So I can no longer like build a personal connection to him because I can't go to his office hours. He has like 400 students. I know that 2 weeks into remote learning, he forgot who I was. That recommendation letter is kind of canceled, and I took 2 semesters with a horrible chemistry professor who I would not have taken if I went on to Rate My Professor. My advice to you is read Rate My Professor. I have a bomb-ass schedule this incoming fall semester of sophomore year because for every single professor I looked at their ratings and they're all really good. So I'm really happy with the classes that I'm taking and who's going to be teaching them. If you want to go in blind, sure, but 9 times out of 10 if you choose a professor with really good ratings, you will most likely end up liking them. Number 4, also professor related, your professors will not hold your hand. And this is true even if you're going to a really small college. Like, just the expectations that they have of you in college are set up so that your professor is not going to be keeping an eagle type of watch on your grade. You have to do that. You can go talk to them in their office hours if you want to discuss your grade, but they're not going to like hold your hand through it. So go to class. I'm not even saying like study. If your major doesn't really require you to like do much studying to get an A, then kudos to you. But at the very least, go to class. Get to know your professor. Stop into their office hours maybe once. It does not matter what your major is. It does not matter what the class is. I've taken some meaningless ass courses, but I still just like go to the professor and I'm like, hey, I'm Sophie, like I had a question about this. I'll ask questions that I already know the answer to just so that they like get to know me. It's literally all just about like making connections. It doesn't matter what you want to do after you leave college, but it will never hurt you to make connections. So your first connections are your professors. The same way that you have to go out of your way to make friends, you have to go out of your way to build connections with your professors. Number 5, darties are a thing. There's no lesson to this. It's a dartie is a day party. I didn't know what that was until I got to college, so I thought I would just tell you guys now. I didn't go to any because I studied during the day, but there will literally be like day parties at 1 in the afternoon that you can go to. Yeah, college boys are like high school boys with a sprinkle of maturity, just a dash, just literally just a dash, like just like, you know that picture of like Megan Thee Stallion, like kind of like that, just a sprinkle. I think the biggest difference in dating in high school and dating in college is chances are your college will be bigger than your high school. We only had like what, 800 and something people in my entire high school, and I go to a college with 40,000 people, so you will naturally just have more options and meet more people. And then also, just like full disclosure, I went to a performing arts high school, so most of the guys were gay anyways. When I got to college, I instantly realized how many more people there were and how your pool of options just automatically gets bigger. That obviously is only if your college is bigger than your high school. I've met so many freshmen in college who came in and they like left somebody behind or like got out of a relationship right before they came into college. You see that a lot. Like a lot of people leave relationships right before they get into college, and then they realize that, oh shit, like I thought that I wasn't gonna find anybody, but there are literally so many people here. And then also from the guys that I've briefly dated while in college, ironically none of them actually went to the school that I currently attend. They went to other schools in Philadelphia. And then I think that that's also because like when you are in like high school or middle school, like you really only talk to the people that are in the same school as you. It's kind of just like where middle schoolers can only really date people in school because they go to school and they go home and they can't like really go anywhere else by themselves. It's kind of like that, I guess. Like when you go to college and you're on your own, you almost begin to feel the independence and like how you just have the accessibility to meet multiple people and see all of the options that you actually have. And that's kind of what happened to me. Granted, I spent more time studying than I did like getting the opportunity to talk to guys, but the guys that I did briefly date, like I did realize how easy it was for me to talk to people and how easy it was for me to like meet people. So if you are worried about that, I would not be, because you will meet people, like you will. Because I did not want to, and I still did. Like, it's still, the opportunity still presented itself to me to talk to people and to meet people and to date people. So yeah, that's that on that. So if you're worried about meeting a significant other in college, fear not, because it will happen. And then also Tinder's a thing too, so you know. Number 7, you don't really get invited to parties, you just show up. There's a party, there's an address, the address gets out. If you get the address, then go. I don't know, I didn't realize that until I got there. I kind of just thought that college was the way that it was depicted in a lot of stereotypical movies, where the group of successful, popular people are the protagonists or antagonists of the film, and they're the ones that succeed in college, and it's kind of just this group that circles around them. They throw parties and get invited to parties, and they meet guys and all of this stuff. But honestly, that happens to everybody in college. No matter what crowd you're in, you will find yourself at a party, you will find yourself dating somebody, you will have all the experiences no matter who you are. So the concept of being invited to a party was something that I subconsciously worried about, but then I got an address to a party a month before I even moved in. The second that you put what college you're going to in your bio, party promoters will follow you. I put TU23 in my bio, and that same day like 5 party promoters followed me. You will find yourself having all of the college experiences. The entire concept of just like the college experience only being granted to the popular people from a college movie leads me into my 8th point, which is, unless your college has less than 4,000 people, nobody is popular. Like I said, my school has 40,000 people in it, and there is no way that I will ever meet all of those people. You kind of end up just finding your own group that you fit in with, and those are your friends. Whether the group is big or small, if you go to a school with thousands of people, the concept of popularity is like non-existent. Like, that's not a thing. You may know a lot of people in your college, but then there is still 30,000 people who have never heard your name. So you're not popular. Like, nobody's popular in college. Unless you're a celebrity going to college, nobody's popular in college. That's the concept of popularity is a pretty premature high school type of concept. It doesn't really exist once you get into college, because most people are focused on themselves and what they're doing and where they're going. Nobody's really focused on you. It kind of sucks to hear, but it's also kind of refreshing to hear, because the drama that came along with high school, where kind of everybody was in everybody's business and everybody kind of knew each other, that whole thing kind of ceases to exist once you get into college, because people are too busy focusing on their own plans and their own future goals, because that's when it really does matter. Number 9 is to make good use of your free time. This is kind of to all my pre-meds out there, or pre-law, or pre-dental, pre-professional, anything that requires you to maintain a good GPA all throughout your 4 years. It's definitely really frustrating and it's really difficult. You may feel like you have to spend all waking hours of your day studying, but that's really not the case. That was one of my biggest mistakes that I made going into my fall semester of college. I felt guilty for allowing myself to have free time. And that definitely did take a toll on my mental health, and it showed in the difference between my fall GPA and my spring GPA. Allow yourself to have free time, because if you are in a pre-professional program and you're trying to go to grad school or med school or vet school or wherever you're trying to go after college, I guarantee you that when you get there, you will have a lot less time than you do right now. My 10th and final tip, which is you will make mistakes. It's probably the biggest cliche I've ever said on this channel, but it's true. Unless you went to a boarding high school, the transition between High school and college is a big one, and you're gonna make mistakes. No matter how many pieces of advice that anybody gives you, even if you're watching me telling you this right now, there will still be things that you encounter in college that I didn't go over in this video, that nobody else gave you advice on, and you kind of just gotta learn to navigate it. Like, you just gotta learn to navigate. I learned so much just in between the span of my fall semester and my spring semester. I made a goal for myself going to my spring semester to make Dean's List, and I did. And I think the reason why I was able to achieve that this time around is because fall semester I was kind of, I guess, learning the ropes of college and how to juggle school life and my emotional life and my personal life and everything that's going on in my life at once, while also trying to maintain a good GPA. And then I think spring semester I finally learned how to do that, and it reflected in my grades, which I'm pretty happy about, so that's always a good thing. It was really stressful at times. College will be very stressful at times, but you'll get through it. You'll get through it. I mean, the only way out is through. Somebody said that once. Those are all the tips that I have, so I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That is it for my video. I love you all so much, and I will see you next Sunday with another new video. Bye.
For me.